All right. So we're going to be reacting to Scotty Kombat's video called "Let's Pick Our Mains for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection." Are we like main fighters, main games? I don't know. That's why we're reacting to it, because I have no idea. Let's check it out.
Fellow fighters, welcome back, and in today's video I want to ask you, which character are you going to pick when you get the Legacy Collection for Mortal Kombat? Genuinely, I think this is a good question because we have multiple games, and many of our fan favorite characters are included in these games. So I ask you, which character are you going to pick? I already know which ones I'm going to pick in these games. Now, Mortal Kombat 4, it's been a while. I feel like I'm going to have to go through some of them.
I'm going to pick the Mortal Kombat character. Aren't I a funny fucker?
And I might switch it up a little bit. However, I thought this would be a fun video to go over each game, let you know which character I'm going to choose, and then I want to know which one you're going to choose as well. Yes, I am showing Trilogy in the background, and that is going to be included in this video because I really do think the Collector's Edition is going to include Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and if it doesn't, that's going to be a huge L for the Mortal Kombat Collector's Edition. So it better be in there. We better have some Trilogy in Mortal Kombat Collector's Edition. I'll say it over and over. It better be in there. We better have Trilogy and Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Also consider this, I know a lot of you are Noob Saibot fans, and not everybody's played the arcade experience yet. Noob Saibot is cheap as hell in the arcade era. In fact, this character is banned in many of the tournaments that you play. Now, whenever I played with my buddies, no character was off limits. However, don't be surprised if you do play against some people that'll actually does not want to play with you if you choose certain characters, Noob Saibot being one of them. He throws a cloud out that stops your opponent from doing any damage. Like literally any damage. Once that cloud's around the opponent and they try hitting you, they can't hurt you. Now the very first Mortal Kombat game, this is going to be an interesting one because there's only 7 characters to pick from. And just a little fun fact, Sonya Blade didn't come until later in the game. That is the development of the game because there was no female characters. But let's get back to the actual characters. For those of you that...
From memory, I think Jax was supposed to be in MK1. From memory. I could be wrong.
Haven't played the arcade era, some of these characters actually play pretty similar to the games you're familiar with now. We'll do this by starting in order, and I'm going to share my main from the very first Mortal Kombat game. Man, this goes all the way back to my childhood. For the Lin Kuei. You'll be seeing me use Sub-Zero. Whether you play matches with me online now in MK1, know that in most cases, if we're going to play the original Mortal Kombat game, I am going to choose Sub-Zero. Other characters that I do enjoy playing on the roster.
I'm going to beat the snotty out of Scotty. Right? With the true main. That being Scorpion. What's this refrigeration shit? Right? The dude throws like snow cones versus the literal hellfire demon spectre. Right? We're getting the smack talk happening right now, but well, months in advance before we even get to the game.
Roster in the very first game are Liu Kang, Raiden, and Scorpion. So before we jump over to the second Mortal Kombat game, I want to know from you guys which ones you're going to pick for the first, second, third, and Trilogy, as well as Mortal Kombat 4 if you feel like letting me know all of those if you already know. It's cool to look at this roster and think the only factions were the Lin Kuei, the Shirai Ryu, Earthrealm's Defenders, and the Black Dragon. That's actually
I mean, to be perfectly honest, like all of them are pretty great, right? Like all of them are pretty great characters. Like Kano is a lot of fun just for shits and giggles because when you connect his headbutt, it makes this ting sound, right? And it's great. I love it, right? Using that character alone just to try and nail somebody with a headbutt is funny as fuck, right?
Pretty impressive for the very first Mortal Kombat game with only 7 characters. Alright, you guys gotta let me know who your favorite character is in the second Mortal Kombat game. Even if you've never played it before, I'm sure you can recognize all the characters that are on the roster.
Scorpion.
Mortal Kombat 2 released with an amazing roster. Every single character is iconic. Not to say there's anything bad with the first Mortal Kombat roster, but for example, Sonya Blade being in a gymnastics outfit just didn't really stick out to me. Not really a fan favorite of mine, same with Stryker for example. I feel like Mortal Kombat 2 really started getting more into the grit. I really am a big fan of MK2. Something I really appreciate about the first Mortal Kombat setting is the oriental vibe that it gives that we don't get in the second game, although that's fine because I like the darker approach that they took for Outworld and MK2. Now we're talking roster characters here, so I don't want to get too carried away. My other favorite characters to play as in MK2 would be Raiden, Scorpion, and Liu Kang. Although I'm a Sub-Zero main in the arcade era, I can't help it. Scorpion's still a really fun character to play, and I know you guys don't.
So Scorpion in MK2 got a brand new move. Two, actually. Two brand new moves, which was the air throw. But my absolute favorite is the leg takedown. The leg takedown has only shown up in MK2, MK10, and that's it. Hang on, let me check. Yeah. That's kind of bad. That's what, 2 games? Have I got that correct? 2 games that he has it in? Now, he might have also had it in Shaolin Monks, but I'd have to double check. Right, but as far as like the main fighters go, it was definitely MK2. There was none of that in MK3, none of that in MK4, none of it in the 3D era, from memory. Oh, sorry, MK9. My bad. Yeah, I thought I was forgetting one. So 3 games. So MK9 had it, and then they kept it in MK10, right? And then they got rid of it. I don't know why. I just love the move. Always liked those types of martial art moves where you get people on the ground and smack the shit through them.
Don't see me use Liu Kang or Raiden in MK1, but in the arcade era they're extremely fun. Now I do want to speak on the roster again. All these choices are awesome. This is the first time we see Melina. This is the first time we see Kitana. Reptile is playable for the first time. When it came between Melina and Kitana, the one I always played more was Melina. And between both new women fighters that joined Mortal Kombat 2,
listen, I don't judge people. Listen, if you want to have a chick with a face like a bear trap, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to judge anyone. I understand. I get it. Right. Oh, Melina's fucking psychotic. Melina is just ridiculous in MK2. Right. In the right hands, she is just insanely lethal. So, but so is Kitana as well. Like, so is Kitana, so.
I went with Melina. Her airdrop and ball roll are extremely fun moves, and the way her size worked were very unique as far as inputs. She's a really fun character to play. I really enjoy Melina. However, I really enjoy Kitana too. I do put Melina first as far as gameplay. That's what's fun for me. MK2's Kung Lao has a little air of mystery to him. Also, MK3 Kung Lao is very cool as well. Also, for those that don't know, this is the first entry for Kuai Liang Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat. This is Sub-Zero's younger brother for the first time in the flesh. Now, seeing Reptile in MK2 was so exciting, and I always enjoyed choosing Reptile, but his moves sucked, unfortunately. I could never really get Reptile down. Those for you that like Reptile now that haven't got to play, he can go invisible in this game. That is something really cool about him.
So I actually thought, like, so when you think of like Reptile from the first Mortal Kombat, he was just Scorpion and Sub-Zero, right? So they had to basically give him a whole new moveset. Basically, like, he's still got the slide, right? But I like the fact that, you know, they leaned into the character with the acid spit, which is really fast, right? And it hits at a height that can be really annoying to people, because if you don't jump properly, you're going to get nicked by it. The force ball is a lot of fun, because you throw the force ball out and it wobbles across the screen, right? And then you can pin him down with your acid spits and stuff like that, or you can follow it in, you know, to try and create some pressure and freak him out. That's what I like about Reptile's force ball. You know, even though, like, in Ultimate MK3, obviously he got the 2, you know, the slow and the fast, which really, you could just fucking destroy people's psyche with just throwing those out. He had a nice big acid spit. He had his dash elbow. Obviously, he still had his slide, and of course his invisibility. So Reptile was a force to be reckoned with in Ultimate MK3, but in MK2 he's still really solid. Right? Still really solid. It was also the first time, not just him obviously, but also with Kitana, where we actually had to press 2 buttons to do the move. Right, so with Katana's fan throw, it was forward, forward, high punch, low punch. For Reptiles, force ball, it was back, back, high punch, and low punch.
This is the first time we see a Mortal Kombat character go fully invisible, and honestly, you just gotta love MK2 for bringing Kentaro and Shao Kahn for the first time as well. So again, Mortal Kombat 2, Sub-Zero's my main pick. Mortal Kombat 3, and this is the vanilla Mortal Kombat 3. And this point early on, I wasn't familiar with Human Smoke yet, just the Cyber Smoke. And this is also where I would form my 2 favorite characters in the Mortal Kombat series, Sub-Zero and Smoke. So even in vanilla Mortal Kombat 3, I'm still very happy with the roster choices.
Is this the Smoke that I eventually beat you on with my Reiko? Is it just I'm just throwing. It took me a few fights though. I'm a stubborn fucker, right? I do not like getting beaten without trying everything I can to try and beat someone. And Scotty's absolutely amazing with Smoke. Absolutely amazing. I had like 5 sweatbands on trying to beat his Smoke. Eventually did. I did. Yeah. Anyway, it's on one of his live streams where I fought him. So that was really cool. Yeah, Smoke is pretty good in it. I know people say that Smoke is essentially the better version of Scorpion. However, and that's because he's obviously got the pop-up. But I still lean into I still love Scorpion. I do. And when Trilogy came out, by giving Scorpion the teleport, like the forward teleport punch, that was really awesome too. Right? I think they definitely needed to give him just that little bit of additional moveset.
I know it's a very controversial one because there is a lack of characters. Honestly, something I just really enjoy about the original Mortal Kombat 3 is how desolate it feels, and I know some of this plays back onto my childhood, right? We all experience nostalgia, and I remember playing the original Mortal Kombat 3 and feeling like things were just off. I don't want to say survival horror because Mortal Kombat wasn't survival horror. It was really enjoyable for an almost uncanny feel to play Mortal Kombat 3 on the Sega Genesis because the sounds were just a little off. It's a very interesting game taking place in Earth whenever everything's supposed to be dystopian. Mortal Kombat 3 Vanilla, a game that many people really don't care for, but one that I have a soft spot for. In fact,
I think, yeah, I get that. Like, I can see both sides of it, right? So when MK3 came out, it was very cool, but I still remember standing there looking. It was on this massive fucking screen in the arcade, right? Huge ass screen. I remember looking at the roster going, wait a sec, is that Scorpion now? Did he get like turned into a robot and stuff? And obviously he didn't, you know, as you find out by playing and whatnot. But it was kind of cool, you know, that they had some, I think, given the bold direction that they did by not having some of these main characters that people fell in love with from MK2, like Katana, Melina, Scorpion, Reptile, not being there at all, and then and just giving us this 15 character roster, which obviously is inclusive of Cyber Smoke, was pretty bold, and I think they nailed it. Well, I actually think they nailed it. I think they did a really, really fucking good job. Because every single one of those new characters, people love. Who the fuck loves Devora? Collector? Cetrion? Right? Who loves these garbage characters that they brought out now? But MK3, despite its like very bold change to the roster, whole bunch of new characters, really, really good job. I thought it was really good. Why is my chin? I've got a chin hair that's stabbing into me on my... Ow. Anyway, beard problems, boys and girls. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then of course Ultimate was like, yeah, and then we got all of these, you know, returning characters, including a couple of new ones. So
I remember my own friends and family wondering, what the hell is this? Even with all the changes in the most recent MK1, Mortal Kombat changing things up is just something that's always been a part of its DNA. Take a look at this stage here real quick. This is not...
Sort of. I mean, like, I agree. Like, they changed things up, but they're not doing what they're doing now. Back then, they still kept their legacy, and they would just add bits and pieces like stage transitions, run meter, dial-in combos. But they still kept the core base legacy of how the characters felt, moved, how each of their special moves, if you did Sub-Zero's freeze with a quarter circle low punch on MK1 and you picked up MK Trilogy or MK4, it's going to be the same, right? They didn't change moves and mechanics. Now, like, and of course, like when the 3D era came out, that's when it all changed, right? And then when we got to, well, obviously the NRS era, then almost every game would have different inputs depending on, or a different placement of different special moves. They changed it everywhere. Almost like not only do we have to like learn whatever new mechanics they put in the game, but we have to relearn their characters from the ground up. And it's very frustrating. That's why I like Legacy, like MK. It's why I like other fighting games where if you played Ryu back in Street Fighter 2 Champion, you can pick him up in Street Fighter 6 because you know how to do his fireball, you know how to do his dragon punch, his hurricane kick, you know, and then you just work out the differences from there.
Not in the original Mortal Kombat 3, this was added in the addition of UMK3. And right here is one of my best characters overall, that is Cyber Smoke. I don't know how many hours I've played with friends and family using this character against other people. In addition, I also use Human Smoke in the Ninja Sub-Zero as well. And when I play with you guys, or if you watch me play, I'll definitely be using Cyber Smoke a lot. If for whatever reason Trilogy wasn't included in the Legacy Collection, then I would say most fans that aren't familiar with the arcade era are going to have a really good time with Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Various reasons, and I think they're obvious reasons. One, even UMK3 has a very fantastic roster. You're getting the Earthrealm Defenders, you're getting some other fan favorites like Nightwolf, you're getting Sindel, and that's one that I want to share. Sindel was also one of my favorite picks in UMK3 and Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It's also the first Mortal Kombat game to really introduce proper combos, and it's the first time traditional dial a combo.
Well, so what's a proper combo? Because a combo is essentially more than one hit, right? Bang, bang. 2-hit combo, right? Combos back then were more a case of, you know, centered around juggles, you know? So if you do a crossover kick or a jump kick, you know, you can time a harpoon, uppercut, or, you know, for example, going back to Reptile and MK2, depending on how deep the kick is, you can actually do a jump kick, acid spit, right? Or you might do a jump kick, low kick, like standing low kick, and you still clip them. So the combos, the combo system, you could do combos, but it didn't have like what you're seeing there, where it mentioned the actual amount of hits and the actual amount of damage. So this is why they sort of reference to going dialer combos, because that's exactly what they were. You couldn't activate these combos unless you were on top of the character, and you had to press the buttons in a specific sequence to do so.
And then we have Mortal Kombat Trilogy, the biggest roster of all the arcade era. This really is every character you can think of in Mortal Kombat until they bring in new characters in Mortal Kombat 4. Again, every character I just listed is the same ones I use over in Trilogy, that is Human Smoke, Cyber Smoke, Sub-Zero, Sindel, and then for occasional fun I like to throw in Liu Kang and Raiden. I say it because those are the characters I use most frequently. There are other characters I enjoy using as well, like Sector and Ermac. But the purpose of this is me sharing my favorite ones and wanting to know what your guys' favorite ones are too. The only thing I wish we really could have got back in the day was a character for Tremor. Tremor didn't come until Special Forces, which... I really love this arena in Trilogy because it's Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung's seat. I know it looks like nothing now, but back then this was a big deal. This is the game I didn't think we were getting in the collection, and that is Mortal Kombat 4, and we'll be able to play it online. Now, as always, I picked Sub-Zero, which by the way I do want to share. This is one of the coolest designs.
Here he is with the icicle boy, right? Listen, everyone has to grow up. We've got to put the ice creams down, right? We've got to play with real characters. No, but to be fair, right, I actually like the combo system in this game. I thought it was pretty decent. MK4 is a weird one for me. Like, it was kind of a weird one, you know, almost like an experimental. You know, they're like, oh, let's try out this shit and see if it sticks. But Reiko was a lot of fun. Scorpion was a lot of fun. Kai was a hell of a lot of fun. This was also the first time that they took Reptile and actually like devolved him. You know, so we got to this, what I considered the, outside of obviously MK9, we got to the pinnacle perfect version of reptile in Trilogy. Like, he was just crazy psychotic fun, right? And then we get this version, right? So we have no more force ball. You know, he's got like his slide now is like this crawl move. That's fine. But he definitely devolved. And of course we had the Kano replacement with Jarek. So yeah, and to be fair, like Sub-Zero is fun. I'm just kidding, right? But Sub-Zero is fun. He's got his staff that he pulls out and he can freeze people with. The thing that bothered me the most is I didn't like having a boss character on the roster. It was the first time outside of Trilogy, because Trilogy is like the party fun end game, right? That's kind of how I view it. You know, it's just a party fun end game. Let's make everyone available. Let's have some fun, right? I don't take it seriously that the boss characters are on there. But this was a serious release, like in terms of like chronological order. And to have a boss character on the main roster that you can choose immediately was fucking weird. It should have been like the previous games where you can't fight. The only interaction you have with the boss is at the end of the ladder or the end of the tower, right? But Quan Chi was great. Obviously, with the first time we got Quan Chi, or, you know, like I said with Reiko, Scorpion was fun. Kai was great. We haven't had Kai come back outside of the 3D era with Armageddon. So MK4 is kind of funny. It's going to be fun just to play, you know, and have some fun with it. Because there's going to be a lot of batshit crazy stuff. Throwing heads on the stage and weapons and all sorts of dumb shit. But it's still like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of, it's Mortal Kombat, but something's just off. By the way, have you noticed that in all of the older games, each character's picture has its own individual background referencing something of where they're from or something akin to the character? You'll notice that because Raiden and Shinnok are gods or elder gods or demigods or whatever, they share the similar background, like, you know, they're from like the heavens or whatever. And then you got Johnny Cage's one with the city background, you know, stuff like that. You got Quan Chi with the NetherRealm flames. I really like that shit. Like, they don't do that anymore. They don't have individual character portrait backgrounds for the characters.
For Sub-Zero. I know the polygons don't do it a lot of justice, but seeing Sub-Zero in this sleek blue outfit with the red scar and the cat ears on the hood, I really like this design a lot. Also, one of the coolest things about MK4 is it does bring alternative costumes. Not many, but the fact that we see alt skins for the first time, if you don't count Trilogy flipping over to previous game characters. Now, I can't guarantee we're going to get this version, but I really feel like we're going to get it, and that is Mortal Kombat Gold. In this game,
yeah, gold is pretty much, like I said previously, it's the pinnacle end game for MK4 as far as I'm concerned.
And we get added characters like Baraka and Sector, Noob Saibot, Melina, Katana. They've added a lot of characters for gold. A lot of people don't like Shinnok, but I'll say it, I like Shinnok. I think he's cool by concept. Now, I'm not sure if this...
Shinnok's a bitch. He's a giant, he's a whole bitch.
This game's going to be in the Legacy Collection or not. Hopefully this is a discussion we'll be able to have soon, as it's getting closer for the Digital Eclipse Legacy Collection to release. I really want to know what your roster picks are and what you think of mine down below. With that said, my friends, I appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe if you're new. I'm always uploading Mortal Kombat content. If you want to further support this channel, consider becoming a channel member. There's plenty of perks listed below. My friends, I will catch you all live and or in the next video. Much love.
So that's a great pause screen. I'm going to leave it there. Shout out to Scotty Kombat. I'll post a link in the description for his video. This is a great video, man. Yeah, and I'm very old school. Some of the boys on the Discord are like this too, where basically, like, yeah, we might have some favorites, but you know, when we used to play back then, we were able to choose anyone. And the reason why I say that is because, again, because you had a strong foundational legacy in the combat, right? Outside of knowing the different special moves and the combos, you could easily sort of compete and fight other people regardless of which character you picked, because if you had the fundamentals down, then it was simply just, sprinkles on top figuring out the rest of it. And that's what I really liked. Obviously, there were some nuances. Certain characters might have better jump kicks and whatnot, and certain anti-airs like obviously the uppercuts. Certain characters had stronger uppercuts. But outside of that, like you could primarily have this baseline for all the old characters. So it was a lot of fun just being able to random select anyone, and off you go. But shout out to Scotty. I will see you on the battlefield when these games come out. I can't wait. Be pitting my Scorpion against your Sub-Zero or Smoke, depending on the version that we're playing in. So anyway, guys, catch you next time.